Everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
But we're really both Jerome, and we're back to talk more Gotham. Today's episode in question is The Gentle Art of Making Enemies, which is an episode title I didn't immediately like. I generally don't care for these episode titles, but...
I'm still not with that title.
Yeah.
Have you turned around on that title?
Not really. I mean, I gotta think about it some more. I was just gonna say, but I love this episode, so I don't even care.
This is the best episode of the series.
This is the best episode of the series.
It's amazing.
I'm reeling from how much fun I had watching this.
Yep.
If I were to have, like, clocked it and figured out an average, I laughed probably every 45 seconds or so.
Yeah.
On the average.
Yeah.
And with it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It's a really funny episode.
And yet... also, in some ways, it's most dramatic for this material, because I'm so with it, I'm weirdly invested. Yeah. I'm weirdly involved with this.
Yep.
And, you know, I've seen, I don't watch reaction videos, but I have, for whatever reason, just out of curiosity, like, clicked on one or two with a couple of people watching this show, because I was just curious if people were watching this like a regular show, because I couldn't imagine that you would be so invested in the drama in this show, you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And I've seen people do that, and I'm like, I don't understand that. I was like that.
Yeah, a little bit.
With the ending of this episode in particular, and I found myself going, if I were shooting a reaction video, I would look just like the folks that were taking this on the level of like a standard TV drama that I couldn't bring myself to do, and that's not what I was doing with this. But I was with it on its own terms, to the point where I actually felt something about that, and couldn't even believe it. Oh man, is this for this material? This is brilliant. This is a stroke of brilliance, this episode.
Yep. I'm real worried if that next episode's going to be like, go right back to the usual.
I guess we'll see, but you know, like if that happens, at least we got to this place.
Yep.
One time. Because as much as I have, in a lot of places, really enjoyed the show, and both, you know, as a stupid farce and as in a pretty okay Batman-type show, at the beginning especially, I never thought I would feel like I'm feeling right now watching one of these. I don't know.
This is the most feels like a Batman show.
Yeah.
Of all of these episodes, of this entire series.
And some people might not think that works or that they earned it, where it's like, oh yes, of course, it's gotta be Bruce Wayne and the Joker as opposite sides of the coin. We've already done that before he's Batman. But the show is making an okay case for doing the opposite as a prequel, it being Gotham makes Batman as opposed to Batman makes Gotham. And this is getting us right back into that driveway.
Yep, yep. And it felt really Batman-y, and I was excited. I was a little disappointed when we got back to the Court of Owls, and it's like, oh, we're bringing back Clone Bruce, and I was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
But, because...
That's true, at least we didn't end the episode with that. I would argue they were kind of brilliant for doing that, because I kind of thought that that's where the episode was going to end.
And the music swells like it's going to end.
Oh, yeah. And they had two false endings, at least. And Eric even turned to me after the Court of the Owls when he was like, at what point do we end this episode? Like, how many more times are they going to... how many more endings are they going to have, is what you said. And then they give us the last thing on Earth I thought they would do.
Oh, it was so good.
And bookends the episode with it.
Yep.
With a really goofy, hilarious... goofy for this show, I mean, it's still black comedy, it's still acid, but... well, I did acid in 60s Batman. But like, you know, we've got a silly 60s Batman-esque death trap at the beginning that had me giddy.
Yeah,
and then, and you too. Like, we were both like, oh boy, we're doing this! And then...
because he goes, it's a vat of acid, and I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, this chain suspends, and I was like, oh, okay. He's like, and this chain is held together by ice, and I'm putting a flame underneath of it, and I was like, yes!
And that is the moment that he has most channeled Gorshin. He kind of went to that place.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
And that speech was also a little bit Joker and Man Who Killed Batman, where it's like, and this man here, into that vat of acid there. He was very much that.
Yep.
It's gonna be hard not to just talk all over the place with this. And may I say, this is a really dense episode. They've never gotten this much done in one show either. This felt like 3 episodes worth of material to me.
Yep.
And I think jumping between all the subplots was working for it this time, because again, having to keep track of all of it, but enjoying it and being as invested as I was in really every story, I have to say.
And the Bruce Wayne plot converged with the Jim Gordon plot.
Well, what I was going to say is, because I was with it with all that and trying to keep track of everything, it made it so that they could kind of, like, manipulate my expectations, so that then when they went back to a thing, I would have to kind of, like, regroup, and then they could, like, subvert expectations and do another thing I didn't really expect. And a lot of the time, we just kind of check in, especially last season, we would just kind of check in with a subplot, but here we kept building on things.
Yeah, it was, I mean...
Everything felt real tight and necessary.
It's kind of the most Gordon light of this entire season, probably.
Which makes you wonder if they might start steering in that direction a little bit.
But,
isn't that interesting?
The Bruce... Yeah.
Their best episode is their least Gordon-centric episode, and he's kind of supposed to be the protagonist?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But the Bruce Wayne is the most this Bruce Wayne's ever gotten to do. All the Riddler Penguin stuff came to a complete head in this episode. Like, they were doing stuff. Like it never felt superfluous. I was never like, when we cut to a subplot, I was never like, oh, but can we cut back to the one I'm liking? Like, it's all gravy.
And the one time I did feel that way, it won me over real hard. And that's with the Butch and Penguin and Barbara stuff. There's one scene where, and it's not a bad scene.
Was it the one with the whip around the neck?
And the way that scene ends
so good.
But that's what I'm saying, subverting expectations. It was real deceptive in that, this episode, more than any other, knows exactly what it is at every moment.
Absolutely.
And that's why it works.
Yep.
It knows when it's trying to be super absurdly darkly funny. It knows when it's just straight up slapstick comedy. It knows when it's melodrama, and never is it straight up regular TV drama. And the one moment where it pretends, and I swear to God, it's pretending, it's not actually thinking it's doing this, to be real, honest to God, regular TV drama, it goes, you thought that's what we were doing. And then remind me how that scene ends, because I remember just cracking up at it. I remember what it was.
She's got the whip around Penguin's neck, and she's like, all right, you're coming with us. And then Butch knocks him out, and she goes, you don't have to carry him now. And he's just like, son of a... And there's a beat. He doesn't just immediately respond. He looks his body. He's just annoyed. Oh, it was great. It was great.
It's really funny. And again, it would be really easy to look at this one and go, okay, the Joker stuff is really fun. I admit it. They got away with
so much fun with the carnival,
and forget that at least in my opinion, the rest of the episode is pretty good too. You know what I mean? Like even if the rest of that wasn't good, I loved the Jerome stuff so much that I could see myself still giving it best episode of the season props, at least, if not best episode of the series, and it wouldn't have even had to come all the way with the other subplots. I gotta give it mad props, because the rest of it's pretty good too.
Yep. And the whole, it's just, as a whole, this is easily their best episode. It was really funny. It was really dramatic.
Time I found myself going, I might watch this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to sit down and see this again.
The ending with Bruce felt really like Batman melodramatic, like in the right way. Like his whole, like, I will not kill felt like...
And again, it's the obvious thing to do, but for this material, it's working.
It reminded me, and I don't know if it's intentional, because he has his hand out.
That was one place where I started kind of laughing at it a little bit, I have to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because he has his hand out, and he's getting stitched up, and the way it's lit, there's like a light right above his hand, and it reminded me of the first issue with Robin, where he makes Robin like hold his hand up over the fire and like pledge to be Batman,
didn't even think of that,
or not be Batman, but to like fight crime and like whatever. Yeah, it felt really like Batman melodramatic, and I really dug it for that. Because I mean, this is the man who goes to his father's grave and makes a vow. Like, it felt like that.
Yeah, I kind of wish we had gotten that far. That it wasn't just, I won't kill. I didn't love, I have to say, that Alfred got him as far as, okay, we've been training, what for, but then he says, I don't know. I don't love that. I feel like you could have in this episode with what happens with Jerome gotten him all the way to, well, I want to fight guys like that.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't he just say that?
Well, and the bummer is I felt like we were going there, and then we cut to Corey the Owls, and it's like we're doing Clone Bruce, and I'm like, no, that's not what you do here.
Yeah. The problem
this season needs to end with him deciding to be Batman.
It's a great standalone episode. It's a great. It's one of those real few and precious second parts of a two-parter. Technically 3, but it does watch more like a two-parter. With another standalone episode that sets it up. But it technically is 3. But it's one of those rare, precious second parts of a two-parter that is way better than the first.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen a lot.
No.
You usually have a really great setup, and then it's really hard to pay it off. Now we were building to this.
Yeah.
And I think last episode probably watches better with this.
Well, and we said we thought last episode should have been what the mid-season finale was. It absolutely should have. This should have been the episode that opened this half of the season.
Yeah, because it just killed me.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, it's great. We would not have had any reservations if this was the next episode.
Not at all. And I'm going to also go this far. I'm going to say, you might not agree with this, I'm going to say forget what we said about Jerome just doing Heath Ledger last episode.
He's doing a bit of his own take in this.
It's an amalgam of like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. The voice is still there, but and there's 1 or 2 places where he kind of, I don't think intentionally falls out of it on accident.
There's one line in particular where it's just his voice.
And I think they just used the wrong take. You know, like, that's bound to happen. You gotta keep that voice up. You know, but they used the wrong take, maybe, is my guess. But anyway, you get, it's not perfect, but I really liked it. But like, you get to the end, and you get to the House of Mirror stuff, which is some of the best shooting for House of Mirror scene I've ever seen. I mean, when we got there, I'm like, oh, of course we're doing this. Like, we did all the staples of the carnival. I liked, by the way, that it wasn't an abandoned carnival, that it was a working one, and they took all the people in the carnival and used them in carnival rides and things.
Yep.
And games.
That was so good.
And it was hilarious.
The piranhas?
And the whack-a-mole?
The whack-a-mole. Why were those people standing up?
It was hysterical. Maybe they were torn. I would have had guards with like guns to their heads, you know. But yeah, the piranhas. That was freaky. Like, they really nailed the black comedy this time, because
when Jerome gets his face really punched off,
yeah,
and then Bullock is like, "We get to punch guy's face off. That must feel good, right?"
He goes, "That's something, right?" I was like, "Yeah, it is." We'll get back. Remind me to get back to the face thing,
okay?
Because they won me over on that.
Oh,
I didn't like it last episode. Okay, now I get it. They won me over. It works thematically. Yeah, I said it, folks. Gotham did a thing that not only was funny and absurd and insanely dark and black, it worked thematically. And all of the stuff with what the Joker is about, and the and how people are actually ugly on the inside and all of that. Yeah, it's the same philosophy he has in Dark Knight, but he's consistent about it.
Well, and it also felt a little amalgamized. Like, yeah, like there's a little bit of some other Jokers there. It's not as original a take as they do with all the other characters. But
what's nice is it comes from a different place because we know where he comes from. So I mean, it seems like they're almost doing like a class system thing with him.
Yeah,
where the rich people have made this happen. It's maybe not even, and I can't fully tell this, but it's maybe not even people are born this way. They will eat each other. It's a social construct. We have created this.
There's definitely
and Bruce Wayne is one of those. Is the son of one of those people, and so he's in a place where he could be that or not be that, and the Joker is challenging that. And he's this poor kid that was brought up in a carnival and never really had very much, and he was in this like freaky, messed up kind of underside of the world that nobody saw. And I think they're kind of playing class system warfare.
There's definitely some Tyler Durden in his speech.
Yes, yeah,
where he's like the garbage man and it's
almost
real
a straight up Fight Club quote. Yeah,
and that's fine. His performance is like last episode was just kind of doing Ledger. There's a little bit of Nicholson in him. There's a little bit of Hamill in him, and some of the scenes are written more Hamill-y or more Nicholson-y or that kind of thing.
And I didn't feel like it was inconsistent.
No, it felt like it was the same character.
And he's
pulling from a couple of different sources of inspiration.
He's supposed to be hard to read. The Joker is supposed to be a character that you're never sure what he's going to do next. So consistency is not always key with that character. But like I don't feel like he's just all of a sudden a totally different version in every scene, but in mixing them that way, it also kind of helps to keep you guessing.
My favorite line,
he's not predictable.
My favorite line that he has, because I have this thing about how we don't make the Joker funny enough. He's always...
This is the funniest Joker I've seen since Dark Knight.
He's always, like, really scary. Like, I like Death of the Family and Endgame, but he's not funny. He has a line that's so... It's almost Hamill Joker-y. The one about the couch. Where he tells them to murder Alfred and then says, try not to get any blood on the couch, I might come back for that. It's hilarious. It's genuinely, like, really funny.
And what's cool about it is it sounds like almost like a thing the Ledger Joker would say, but he wouldn't because he's not about property. So we are separating him even with the humor. So like that's really cool. I wanted to talk for a second about a little bit more about the amalgamation thing, because in particular I got real giddy that they got some Nicholson in there, like you said, toward the end, and the mono a mono line is in there.
He fights like Nicholson. He does this, and then he does the roundup punch.
Yeah, this episode and this series overall has kind of been like this, but sometimes it's few and far between, you forget. Because I always call this like Batman Returns the show. It seems to aesthetically really lean toward the Tim Burton side. This is a tribute to all things Batman.
Yeah.
This particular episode
60s
especially.
Batman, 89 Batman, Dark Knight.
At least screen stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's in a carnival, and there's certainly some Killing Joke in there.
Yeah.
Maybe probably some Dark Knight Returns, because that also goes to a carnival.
And I know this is a thing that I notice a lot that you don't necessarily pick up on all the time. The score is that way too, and again, we very often pull a lot of '89 type sounding score. There's a bit, and I don't know if it was going too far, but I don't know if you caught it. Straight up, Batman Begins Dark Knight violins just in the score. When Jerome is pushing Bruce to his limits before when he's tied up and they're doing the staple thing, or maybe it's right after that when he just before he thinks he kills Alfred, I think is where it is. There's this big close up on Bruce. There's this big like tense moment, and they do the and that's in there. But then later, after the House of Mirrors bit, it's just straight up '89 in the score. And then it goes to Batman Returns right at the end when the Penguin gets shot, and it's fantastic. So, like, even in the music, and the reason I bring all this up, and I'm going to specific examples so much, is, and the point I'm making is that all of the different hands in this pie are intentionally putting this stuff in here so we can be sure we're reading it right. You see what I'm saying? Because also the music is doing that amalgamation. We're not reading too far into that. That's what this is. And it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still really hard not to be a broken record and say, well, if you're going to go this far, why couldn't it have been a Batman show in the first place? But... well, and this is the show we're stuck with,
and there's certainly some contrivances. Like, it's not narratively tight, but it doesn't matter.
No, and when I said tight, I just mean that all the scenes matter.
No, but like, how... no, you're right. The big one is how Penguin gets out of the death trap.
But they're so funny.
Yeah, it's like the show knows this is dumb.
I didn't care.
I didn't either.
Because 60s Batman does that, and this time it knows for sure that's what it is. It's about... I don't want to say it's necessarily about more than that show, because I think that show is about more than anybody gives it credit for, and that it's a lot of social satire. But this, in characterization, is about more than that show ever was. Intentionally. It's also, you know, a modern thing, and we like to talk a lot anyway about how we have more sophisticated audiences. We expect those things, so that's there. But yeah, no, you have that two massive conveniences that cracked me up, and one of them would have bothered me a lot more if the whole rest of the episode hadn't been so consistently entertaining. At the very least, you have the as you say, the cop showing up, who might as well have just been the cop at the beginning of Batman Forever. I know I always bring him up, but no, because
there was boiling acid.
Boiling acid. See, I wanted him to actually get hit with the acid so he could be like, my shoes are melting. That security guard at the beginning of Batman Forever. But he's as dumb as that guy. Yes. Oh, and intentionally so.
Yes, it's about to fall, and he's explaining. He's like, "I'm the mayor. Untangle me." He's like,
"Ooh, you're the mayor? Yes. Wait a minute. How do I know for sure you're the mayor?
What did you do?" He's like, "Stunt time me." Oh, it's great. He's so dumb. And then I was like,
"You're standing right under acid, dude. You're in as much danger as he is." And then, of course, it all comes down like immediately after.
Yep.
But Eric, before that, and you brought up a really good point about it, and I was already questioning how convenient it seemed. Before that, you had Lee, and it's her only scene, mercifully so, where we have her right now anyway. You have the scene at the beginning where Lee is like, oh, by the way, Jerome, the last thing he tried to do was kill Bruce Wayne. Maybe I should and Eric was like, why didn't you say that before? And of course...
And she says it like, oh yeah, he said the last thing he tried to do was kill Bruce Wayne. He's gonna do it again.
Although one thing a place that excuse me, I think you have to give it a little bit more credit than that. Now that I'm thinking about it, though, because just like last episode, she is starting to realize what show she's in, and she mentions that after all of the other crazy convoluted stuff she was talking to Jerome about, she's like, so much crazy stuff happens in this world. I just forgot that the 13-year-old boy almost got murdered. I forgot all about that. Like, that's how they're playing it. So, I don't know. It kind of works on that level. Anyway, but before that, or excuse me, no, that's what I'm talking about. So, that happens, and then immediately after that, that's where Jerome is. Of course.
But it didn't matter because that scene's great.
We do that. That's the thing we do in the show every other week. Like, we do that as often as Legends has, almost as often as Legends has someone in a scene mention a word that is unrelated to anything, and then somebody goes, oh, that solves the whole unrelated problem that we have. The bit where somebody has to like suddenly go, oh yeah, this person's in danger, and then Gordon's like, I better rush over there because I'm sure that they're going after this person right this very minute, and it's always true.
Yeah. But the scene with Alfred, like, talking down the thugs before Gordon shows up, like when Gordon's standing in the corner, he sees him.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so... My favorite one...
I forgot about that.
My favorite one is... Oh, he says something to one of the guys, and that's the guy that does the silly voice. But it's Mr. Machete. He calls him Mr. Machete, and he says something like... Don't think twice, your mother didn't, or like something like that. Like, it's a real, like, British, like, kind of cockney put down. I was like, yes, that's the Alfred of this show.
Yeah, some characters almost, like, reminding us what their characters were supposed to be. Like, they're back in character now. There's a little bit of that, or just doing fun things with them again. Like, this is the best the Bruce Wayne actor has ever been.
Absolutely. Oh, man, and he had so much to work with.
And that's probably the reason. Because remember, I was complaining last season that...
He just seemed bored.
Yeah, that he was like, I thought I was going to get to be in a Batman show, and he just seems kind of sad that in his performance, I almost feel like I could read that. Like, we're not working toward the really cool thing where I was so lucky to be in this show, and now he gets to be, like, you can't say Gordon's Batman anymore. Bruce Wayne in this episode is Batman.
Well, Gordon is the one that stops Jerome. I mean, it's still there a little bit.
Well, that's true, but he just needs help.
But Bruce Wayne's finally moving towards being
he's a 13 or 14-year-old kid,
yep.
So he needs some help. But Gordon's a plot device in this episode, and I can't help but say I kind of like that. I mean, Because what else do we have to say with him right now? In any way,
nothing. It's just him. It's just the him and Lee stuff.
So with the
he was like looking at Lee at the end of the episode. Did you notice that? When Bullock was talking to him, he was being real funny because Bullock actually gets a number of scenes this episode, and they're all gold. He's like looking.
And I was really impressed with his great line count last episode, but he gets more of them here.
But he was just like looking in the distance as like Lee left. And he's like, "I'm sorry, what was that?" And I was like, "I don't want to deal with this."
Yeah.
Because I know that's what the next episode's going to be. Yeah,
and that's the bittersweet thing about this is that you can't expect this every week.
This isn't gonna be what happens next week. But
no, and of course not. But on the other, this is a key issue kind of episode, and you want your peaks and valleys. I don't mean in quality. I just mean in importance of
absolutely
of story and what's
going on.
But
I'm hoping that whatever they do for the finale gets this
back to this. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we can't like stay on this high all the time, or we wouldn't appreciate it as much. And again, I don't mean quality-wise, certainly.
Yeah, just the escalation, the scale.
I may sound like I'm overselling it, especially when I say this. This is the episode to watch if you watched some of first season and didn't like it, or if you've never seen the show before. Because I can only imagine what a person would think of this show watching this out of context.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You would think this show is way better than it is, and way crazier than it is.
Yeah.
Well,
if you can
way crazier, I'm not sure about that.
If
it's about as crazy as
the absurdity of it. I mean, it has to be to your taste, and this isn't everybody's taste. But I do feel like even watching this out of context, having no idea what else was going on around it, I feel like you would probably be with it on its own terms.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think it's communicating what it is okay. Even on a singular watch.
Yeah, I wonder if people that dropped off or people that didn't watch it because they didn't want that show about Gotham before Batman. I wonder if they could tune into this episode and be like, oh,
because Steve left this a long time ago. He needs to see this episode.
He needs to see this episode, absolutely. The Riddler Penguin stuff is all great.
Once again, Barbara's plot is really good.
Oh yeah.
And she got me with this one.
She got you.
Yeah, I bought her whole line, and like she did the double, triple, quadruple cross thing like she did last episode, and I bought it even more this time when she was like, well, he's like Ed's of no use to me, I'm gonna kill him, and then they were together at the end. I actually, maybe I'm stupid, I didn't call that.
I didn't know. Because I kept being like, well, he made this big deal, and maybe he's testing him, but that would be dumb, and then it is, and it's dumb, and it's great.
Yeah.
Like, no, Ed was just there the whole time testing him, and that was great.
Yeah, it almost feels like a parody of those kinds of obnoxious, TV drama plots.
Yeah, no.
With romances.
The conversations that they get to have back and forth,
I can't even follow it by the end. It's so preposterous. And in the wrong context, I would have hated that. But I don't know. That final confrontation between them is just, and I was on pins and needles. Yeah, I was too.
Because I thought, is he going to kill him? Is he going to kill himself?
Yeah, I never had that.
I thought he might have gotten there in his thought process
but the thing is, you thought of that halfway through a line and you didn't listen to the rest of the line.
Yeah.
Because he goes, you killed her, I'm killing you right now. Here it comes.
And he did, and he shot him. And he shot him, and he fell off the pier, and he went like this. And it was great.
So naturally, there's no way we've killed that character off.
No. He'll come back as a clone or something. He'll survive.
I predict it will not be a coming back to life thing. I don't think they would do that to him. I think it'll be being crippled in the hospital, nourished or nurtured back to health kind of story. Somebody will find him that will replace Ed for him.
It'll be Poison Ivy because we haven't done enough with her.
Maybe She'll find him. Maybe it'll be something like that. Yeah.
And speaking of coming back to life, there's that great line when he says something when Gordon says something about not killing Jerome. And well, I just come back anyways.
That was pretty great. And of course, we're doing all the major thematic staples with the Joker.
They have nothing new to say, but they're presenting it well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. Yeah, and again, it's kind of a nice mix of that stuff. With the face, when I said it works thematically, what I mean is he's like the Heath Ledger Joker trying to prove that everybody's ugly on the inside, and then his face comes off.
And they do the Death of the Family shot where you get to see the face in the water, and it looks good. Like I complained last episode about how the face just looks like a rubber mask.
It looks just like
in the water. It looks just like Death of the Family.
The one makeup hiccup, and there's probably no way around it, is that when the face comes off, he just looks like he's got a bloody face.
Yeah.
But I don't
there's
know.
clearly no prosthetics to look like muscle,
and that would have been good.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess by the end of this season he falls in a vat of chemicals.
I wouldn't have said this 2 episodes ago. We gotta keep doing stuff with him.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited now.
Yep.
They've won me over,
at least in the finale.
But at this point, you can just call him the Joker. We need to, and I kind of expected that maybe they would go there. They're playing it like because the Joker is the big arch nemesis, they're not allowed to for some reason. Mr. Freeze is called, isn't he just straight up called Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, I think he's just Mr. Freeze.
We've got it with Scarecrow. We've got it with, and we've had it with Penguin since day one. We haven't done it with Riddler yet, but that's okay because he's not wearing question mark suit. But we've done it with 50 to 75% of our villains. The Joker had minions in this his brainwashed masses who are going around wearing jackets like 89 with basically a Joker logo with a smiley face on it. And we had playing cards in the previous episode. Yeah, he can just call himself the Joker at this point.
Yeah,
it's a little odd that he's not.
I kind of wish this ended with him falling into some kind of bad chemicals or something, so that next time when he comes back, he just has Joker face for some reason.
Is it possible that somehow, rather, they will end up linking him up with the Red Hood gang so that he's wearing the Red Hood when he falls in acid?
Maybe.
I don't know that I would want that.
I don't need that.
I mean, I don't either. I liked your idea previously, and I don't think you mentioned it in the video. Maybe you did. That with his face stapled on, maybe the whole idea was that he would keep that face and then he would paint it white.
Over it.
But they needed to have the face come off for that whole thing to work again thematically. So I'm really glad that they did that.
Yeah.
But sometime in this series, surely he will just straight up look like the Joker, if nothing else. But you can just call him that at this point.
Yep. Yep.
And they've earned it. It works.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can't believe I'm saying that. But and the thing is, we have said that this show doesn't look like a show that's working toward Batman. I mean, with this episode, it looks much more so like that. But I feel like the way they're trying to play it is all, and Smallville did this to a degree, and I don't love it, but I think the idea is all the interesting stuff happens before he puts on the suit, so that once he puts on the suit, it's like, okay, and then he goes on and has adventures, and who cares what they are, because we've seen all of the stuff we care about. So maybe there's a bunch of new stuff Batman goes off and deals with, but we've seen all the stuff that we care about, and like the regular Batman stuff is what gets him in the costume in the first place, and so do it up.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yep.
Just go ahead and go full tilt and have all that.
Yeah, you've got all these characters, you've got all these villains, just do it.
Just do it.
What? We were saying that before. This is a Batman show without Batman. Just lean into that.
Yeah.
Kill Bruce Wayne. Throw us all for a loop.
Well, I mean, I was saying that before. I mean,
he's really good in this episode. I don't actually want him to go, but I could see getting to a place where he does leave for a season or two.
Yeah, I can still certainly see that.
Especially with this episode.
But don't you think that because it really did feel like, because they weren't throwing us any Batman bones, it really felt like for a while there, they really could have just killed him or written him out of the series, or this is not a Batman show, it's just a show with all that stuff and Batman's, with all the iconography, the mythology, Batman's not there, but then they did this, and that means that they are working toward a Bruce Wayne puts on the costume at the end of the series kind of finale. Or at the very least, he goes off and works with Ducard or something. I could see the end of this series ending with him going to Nana Parbat, or to some other version of the League of Assassins, or going to somebody teaches him stuff.
Yeah.
What's her face, Lady Shiva.
Yeah.
Something like that. But anyway.
Yeah, anything else?
I'm going to run through some notes just real fast and see if
right.
there's anything else I wanted to mention. So I wanted to compare teasers, because that last episode I was like, we didn't even need this teaser. And this one, you could have ended the episode there, and I would have been like real satisfied. I didn't think the rest of the episode would live up to it. That was such a good teaser. In a longer one, this is one of those shows that likes to go back and forth between short teasers and lengthier ones. I'm going to turn your frown upside down. No, that's a frown.
That's a frown, yep.
I'm sure there's a point they think they're making with that. I'm not sure exactly, just sitting here, exactly what it is. I like it when he puts a bazillion and one different kinds of things into the
He puts the cannonball, then he puts knives, and he has a comment about each one, because he goes like death by 1,000 cuts. Very poetic. And then nailed it. He puts nails in. I thought he put prawns in, but I might be wrong.
I hope he did when you said that, because that would have been just the best thing, but I didn't know that. And then Riddler, I think it's Riddler, has the line that sums up the whole thing for me, and this will be the last point I make, and tells me that they really do, or they've taken me for a loop, that they really do kind of understand our frustration a little bit, when he says this was a lot more fun than I was expecting. That's great. That line in this episode is just the best thing.
No, it's not Riddler. That's Jerome.
Oh, it is Jerome. That's right.
Walking around the funhouse.
Yeah, and he's like, this is a lot more fun than I was expecting. Yeah, me too. You guys made me love your Joker. somehow or other, I wish this episode had come out last year because their Joker is way more fun than the Suicide Squad version.
Yeah.
Like, I really like their Joker.
Yeah, he's better than Jared Leto, absolutely.
Anyway, I mean, I didn't mean to just throw a pot shot against at that, but I'm just saying, like, we've had
people that like that movie don't defend him, right?
We've had a theatrical, but whatever. I'm just saying we've had a theatrical Joker in just the last few months, and I liked this guy quite a bit better than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is wild. Anyway, can't believe this episode. Oh boy, this was great.
This is great.
This is one for the books, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot for watching. Sure appreciate it, and we will see you again next week to see the next one. And I mean, I'm real curious. I certainly don't.
How do you follow this up?
I certainly don't. Yeah, and I don't think you can. And the best thing to do would be to not try too hard.
Well, I don't want it to be the same kind of episode, but I also don't want it to be boring.
But they know they had something special with this.
They must. They must know.
Or they sure made it.
Yeah.
Like
they made it like they're getting canceled.
It was just so that's a great way to put it, yeah. Because I mean, like, the fun they're having is real infectious. There's just an energy that the show doesn't always have.
Yep.
But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, folks. We'll see you next week. I am Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
And we're both Jerome. Thanks for watching.